If your house was built in the 60s or 70s, there's a decent chance that there's aluminum wiring in there. We're going to tell you exactly what it is and when you need to worry about it. So let's go. How's it going, everybody? I'm Brandon, and on this episode of Ask Your Local Electrician, we're going to be talking about aluminum wiring, the controversy surrounding it. Is it safe? Is it not safe? Really, aluminum wiring is just wiring made of aluminum. We'll just get that out of the way. But why do we talk about it? I mean, it's still used today, just in a different way. So in the 60s and 70s, the price of copper went way up because obviously we know we use copper to wire most things today. Copper prices skyrocketed. Builders needed to do something. Well, they were already using aluminum wiring for feeders to feed down the transmission lines to get to your house. So it just started being used for branch circuits. Well, branch circuits are what? They feed your lights, they feed your plugs, they feed all kinds of different things in your house, leaving the panel. So they started using them for that. Well, let's just get this off the bat. It's not illegal to use aluminum wiring, and we still do today, just in a different capacity. So the problem is not that aluminum wiring was used, it's how it was used. So obviously we know we still use the feeder wire today. We just don't use the branch circuits anymore. And the reason isn't because of the wire itself, it's mainly because of the connection points. But let's slow it down and talk about how aluminum is different than copper. So when we talk about the consistency of each, like a very key point is that the expansion and contraction. Well, aluminum itself actually does more expansion and contraction than copper. So that's going to be a key point that we need to remember going into this. So as it heats up and it cools down, those connection points are going to move. The aluminum is going to get bigger. It's going to get smaller. It's going to be moving on the contact point. That's where really a lot of house fires and hot points in houses are from. Arcing, loose connections at lights, switches, any connection point. So really we're just multiplying the amount of problems we have at the connection point. Second, aluminum oxidizes a lot faster and a lot worse. There's a layer of film that builds over the exterior of the conductor, and that actually stops the flow of electrons. I've actually seen it. It happens all the time on apartment buildings where they've got the meter and disconnect outside. We'll get a call and they'll say, "Hey, Brandon, I've lost power to this apartment. My meter says that it's still got voltage," and I'll know what it is right away just because I've been doing this long enough. I'll go over there. I'll do the same thing. I'll get my meter on it, 240 volts, 120 on each leg. Everything looks fine. Nothing's coming out of it. Well, you can see a white skin looking layer on the outside of it. You could take a brush that off, use some contact cleaning solution, fires right back up. It's just oxidizing and needs cleaned up. It happens a lot faster, especially on a branch circuit. The third thing we want to talk about is these devices were never meant for aluminum. They didn't really know the problems. So you've got older devices that have the same contact as a copper contact. Well, copper works one way, aluminum works another. So these old devices were never meant for aluminum in the first place. So when is aluminum wiring dangerous and when it's not? So let's talk about when it can be dangerous. So when it's landed on devices that are not rated for aluminum, that can be very dangerous. When the connections are loose or overheated, or when there's signs of it, that can be very dangerous. When there's signs of scorching or arcing or melting, that's when we know things are getting dangerous. When it's been modified improperly, when there's connections that have been homemade and not made exactly for this, that's when things can get dangerous. When you've got metals oxidizing and you've got multiple metals together that aren't supposed to be together, that's when things can get dangerous. Most house fires related to aluminum are at connection points, at your switches, at your lights, not in the middle of the wire itself. It's at the connection points. So what's actually scary about this is behind the wall. The good thing is it's usually accessible. So now let's get away from that and talk about, when is aluminum okay? When is it acceptable and something we don't have to worry about? So when the connections are made for aluminum, they actually sell devices made for connection with aluminum. That is when you're safe. Also, you're going to want to get these looked at occasionally. When they're inspected on a regular basis, you're going to be okay. When aluminum is used for modern applications like feeders, like going from one large panel to another, or from the meter outside into the panel inside, you're going to be just fine. That's why we still use it today in those applications. In other words, aluminum wiring that's handled properly is perfectly safe. The danger comes from neglect and misuse, not the wire itself. So if you think your house falls in this range and you think you might have branch circuits that are made of aluminum, even your range or your dryer, we see that a lot. Not just every single plug in the house, but ranges and dryers we see a lot, because they were thinking that's a feeder too. There's issues there. So if you think your house has branch circuits that are made of aluminum that might need to get looked at, you're going to want to call someone to get an inspection on it. You're going to want to look and specifically have them look at the connection points. Are they rated? Are the devices rated for aluminum, or are they not? If not, there are things you can do about it. You can get connection points that are rated for it. You can get devices that are rated for it. You can get fixes. And if that's something that cannot be done, yes, you could always rewire the house if that really needed done. But most of the time, there's partial upgrades and connection points that can be fixed. So usually you can get away from a full rewire if possible. So hopefully this helps and taught you a little bit about aluminum wiring to keep you on the safe side, at least give you some information on it. If you got any questions, please feel free to reach out and leave them in the comments. We hope this video helps. Please stick with us. Our next video is going to be on CSST, and make sure that it's bonded properly, and we're going to show you how to do that. So stick with us.